Today we will see top 10 laptops under 50,000 rupees. 9. MSI Modern 1443,600 rupees. Performance. AMD Hexa-Core Ryzen 5 5500U 4.0 GHz. 8 GB DDR4 RAM. AMD Radeon Graphics. Display. 60 Hz refresh rate. OS. Windows 11. Storage. 256 GB SSD. Battery. 39W power supply. Design. 14 inches, 35.56 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. Weight 1.3 kg. 18 millimeters thick. 8. Xiaomi Redmi Book 15 Pro 41,999 rupees. Performance. Core i5 11th Gen Core i5 11300H 4.4 GHz. 8 GB DDR4 RAM. Intel Iris Xe graphics. Design. 15.6 inches, 39.62 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. 1.8 kg, 17.9 millimeters thick. Storage. 512 GB PCIe NVMe SSD. Battery. 10-hour all-day battery 46 where 65W power adapter. Touchpad. Multi-touch with support for Windows Precision drivers. Webcam. 720p HD. Interface. 1x USB 2.0 2x USB 3.2 Gen 11x HDMI 1.41x RJ45 LAN port 1x 3.5mm audio jack. 7. Honor Magic Book 14 44,490 rupees. Performance. AMD Hexa-Core Ryzen 5 5500U 2.1 GHz. 16 GB DDR4 RAM. Graphics, integrated Intel UHD graphics. Design. 14 inches, 35.56 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. 1.38 kg, 16 millimeters thick. Mounting hardware. 65W USB-C power adapter *1, charger cable Type-C *1, battery, quick start guide *1, warranty card *1. Refresh rate. 60 Hz. Keyboard description. Chiclet. Storage. 512 GB NVMe SSD. Battery. 14 hours. 65W Type-C fast charging. Security and privacy. 2-in-1 fingerprint power buttons save you the trouble of entering passwords. Webcam, 720p HD pop-up camera with privacy mode, always protecting your privacy. 6. MSI Bravo 15 48,990 rupees. Performance. AMD Hexa-Core Ryzen 5 3.3 GHz. 8 GB DDR4 RAM. 4 GB AMD Radeon RX 5500M graphic card. Storage. 512 GB SSD. OS. Windows 11. Display. 144 Hz refresh rate. Design. 144 Hz display. 15.6 inches, 39.62 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. 2.35 kg, 24.9 millimeters thick. Battery. 150W power supply. 9 hours, approximate. 5. Asus VivoBook 14 49,990 rupees. Performance. 8 GB DDR4 RAM, upgradable up to 12 GB. Processor, 11th Gen Intel Core i5-1135G7, 2.4 GHz base speed, up to 4.2 GHz max turbo speed, 4 cores, 8 threads, 8 MB cache. Graphics, integrated Intel UHD graphics. Design: 14 inches, 35.56 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. 1.6 kg, 20 mm thick. Storage: 1 TB HDD, 256 GB SSD, SATA 5400 RPM. Battery: LiPo 2 cell. Up to 6 hours battery life. 45W power adapter. Hardware interface: USB Type-C, PCI Express 3.0, USB 2.0 Type-A, 3.5mm audio, USB 3.2 Gen 1. Full HD display. 4 HP 15s, 49,990 rupees. Performance: Core i3 12th Gen 1215G, 3.3 GHz, up to 4.4 GHz with Intel Turbo Boost. Technology: 2G, 6MB L3 cache, 2 cores. 8 GB DDR4 RAM. Intel UHD graphics. Design: 15.6 inches, 39.62 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. 1.7 kg, 17.9 mm thick. Display: FHD, micro edge. Anti-glare. 250 nits, 141 ppi. Storage: 512 GB PCIe NVMe M.2 SSD. Battery: Li-ion 3 cell. 50% charge in 45 minutes. Software included: MS Office 2021. Wireless communication technology. Miracast. Hard disk interface. Solid state. Keyboard description. Chiclet. 3 Realme Book Slim, 46,990 rupees. Performance: Core i3 11th Gen 1115 G4, 3.0 GHz. 8 GB LPDDR4X RAM. Cache 6 MB. Graphic processor Intel Integrated UHD. Design: 14 inches, 35.56 centimeters. 2160 by 1440 pixels. 1.38 kg. 15.5 mm thick. Display: 2K QHD. IPS LCD. 400 nits, 100% sRGB. Storage: 256 GB PCIe NVMe SSD. Battery: LiPo. Battery backup up to 11 hours. 65W Type-C adapter. Keyboard. Backlit keyboard. Speakers: Harman built-in dual speakers. 2. Asus TUF Gaming F15, 48,990 rupees. Crafted with a durable military-grade standard, this laptop can efficiently withstand accidental drops and scratches, thus making it a reliable ally for gamers on the go. Performance: Core i5 10th Gen 10200H, 2.4 GHz. 8 GB DDR4 RAM. NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1654 GB graphics. Chipset Mobile Intel HM470 Express chipsets. RAM frequency 2933 MHz. Cache 8 MB. Design: 15.6 inches, 39.62 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. 2.30 kg, 24.7 mm thick. Display: 144 Hz. IPS level panel. Storage: 512 GB SSD. Battery: Li-ion 3 cell. 150W AC adapted. 1 Dell Inspiron 153511 48,990 rupees. Performance: Core i5 11th Gen 1135 G7 base frequency 2.4 GHz, max turbo frequency at 4.2 GHz. 8 GB DDR4 RAM. Cache 8 MB. Graphic processor Intel Integrated UHD. Design: 15.6 inches, 39.62 centimeters. 1920 by 1080 pixels. Display: Full HD. 120 Hz frequency. 250 nits brightness. Storage: 512 GB SSD. Battery: Li-ion. Up to 7 hours. Included software: Microsoft Office Home and Student 2021.